Our next guest is extremely accomplished stand-up comedian. He has a brand new album out called Stand Up Dad. He's getting tons of play on Sirius XM. He headlines all over the country. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dan Altano.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Ron.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for coming in, man.
Can I just tell you real quick, this is my favorite show on TV. I have binged every single episode. Can I rank the episodes?
Yeah, I would love to hear
It goes
that.
2.
Okay.
Right?
That'd be this one we're doing right now.
I'm on it.
Yes.
And then 1 right below that.
But a close second.
Close second. I mean,
Episode 1's a close second.
I binged all of it. And it's been
you sat down and watched every one, right?
every one of them. And my wife was like, pay attention to your kid. I'm
Right.
like, no,
Like,
the
no,
Ron Noble show is on.
The Ron Noble show is on. I like that. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's only been one episode. And you might be one of the few people that's binged them all. So that's impressive.
It's amazing. It's honestly, I've been telling everybody, and they're like, where is it? And I'm like, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I'm like, don't worry about it, but just take my word for it. And it's great, man. It's quality.
It is. All right. Well, listen, Dan is a stand-up comic, as we talked about. He brought a clip for us to watch really quickly. So we're going to watch that quickly, and we're going to come back and talk to him. Tell us, what are you talking about in your clip here?
Yeah, I brought it on DVD. So I'm a dad, and before I was a dad, my wife signed me up for a dad class because she didn't trust me at all to be a dad. And I walked in, and the clip talks about how I was completely embarrassed within 10 seconds of that dad class.
All right, here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Altano telling us about Daddy Boot Camp.
My wife did not trust me when she was pregnant because she signed me up for a class. It's a real thing called Dad Boot Camp. It sounds like a gym class. I dressed for a gym class. It wasn't. It was a bunch of expecting parents, like sitting around a table learning what it's going to be like to be a new dad. By the way, is there anything more useless in life than a group of almost dads? We have nothing to contribute to the world. And the teacher comes out, he goes, all right, dads, we're going to go around and say the one thing that scares us the most about the idea of being a father. Dan, you go first. And I was like, all right, I got to think about this, right? Like, I got to be honest in this moment. So I was like, all right, what scares me the most about the idea of being a dad? I love doing stand-up comedy. And I feel like having a baby might mean doing less shows and compromising my dream, and maybe even losing that feeling that makes me feel unique. And the next guy went, and he goes, yeah, I'm mostly scared of my baby choking on food. I was like, oh, I shouldn't have gone first. I was like, can I change my answer? Obviously I meant, what'd you say? The choking thing, that's first. My dream is like third. It's like third. I'm also afraid I'm gonna love the baby too much, whatever. That dad, that new dad who said that, I couldn't stand that guy. I remember his name, that's how much I didn't like him. His name was Eddie. He was like this tough guy from the Bronx, and I just couldn't wait for him to say something dumb. And then my moment came. Oh, it was glorious. They were talking about how to feed the kid, and Eddie raised his hand, and he goes, yeah, so my wife makes chicken salad. The teacher was like, is there a question, Eddie? He goes, yeah, can my newborn baby eat chicken salad? The teacher was like, no, Eddie, your newborn baby should not eat chicken salad. And Eddie goes, oh, because of the mayo? I walked into Dad Boot Camp thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna be somebody's father. I walked out of Dad Boot Camp thinking, oh my God, Eddie's gonna be somebody's father.
Oh man, that is so good, dude. That really is. I've seen that joke a bunch. Dan and I, we tour all over the country, and everywhere he goes, I've seen that bit a lot. Always crushes, and it's just so fun to watch it, hear it again.
It's weird to come back from a clip that it's you, because then you're like, how do you react to your own clip?
Yeah, right. Should you be laughing at yourself?
Yeah,
or
do you
not?
laugh,
It's
or do you go like it's an actor
Yeah,
just being like, yes, that is my
I'm
work.
old school, man. I'm confident in this stuff,
I don't like to watch my own work. You ever notice that actors say that? They go, I don't want to watch my own work.
Comedians are like, no, I really enjoy watching my own work.
But also, some actors like, I don't watch my own work. I'm like, you should. You're really bad at this.
It might not hurt for you to
watch the game footage.
think about some ideas here to change.
Take some notes.
That is so funny. So Dan, I was thinking about this driving up here. We toured around so much together, right?
Yeah.
We've been everywhere. And long car rides, flights. I mean, we've done everything together. You can think of week and a half long tours driving around with like 5 guys in my Volkswagen, whatever it was.
The best.
Golf. But when we're driving,
Yeah.
most of the stories, I shouldn't say most of the stories, but many of the stories are us talking about bombing, right?
Yes.
And it's sometimes us bombing or telling stories about, oh my gosh, I saw this one guy have a worse shit, whatever it is, right? But then I watch like podcasts and TV shows, and all the comics ever talk about is their favorite show. Like,
Yeah.
this show is the best. This one, I had such a killer set. So
Yeah.
I know you have some great stories about this. Do you have a few you'd like to share with us?
Oh, can I give you my top 3?
I'd love to hear your top 3.
Okay. So yeah, you're right. I mean, no one cares about the great shows, and we're at a point now where like you're having a lot of good shows, but the bombs. All right, so here's my top 3. I'll start with 3. First bomb I ever had. Okay, and the first bomb is the biggest bomb probably.
That one sticks with you.
It's like your first kiss, except you're disappointing more than one person. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, all right, I was 4 shows in. My first 3 shows brought all my friends, and they all laughed because they're my friends and they're good people. And I was like, where's my special? Like, I got this. 4th show, there's 8 people. 4 of them were my in-laws. And I go to my first joke, and they just stare at me. And then next joke, stare at me. I'm completely bombing. And I'm just watching my entire family just judge me, right? And my wife's dad is like this old school Italian guy, and he's just kind of like giving me just the dead eyes. But the worst part about bombing, I got no laughs, is we had to drive to Connecticut from the show, me and the in-laws in one car, and that my father-in-law was just literally looking in the rearview mirror, just like
Staring you down.
I'm in the back seat. He's like, "Just what you gonna do to my daughter? This is what you're gonna do to my daughter?"
For 2 hours straight in the car.
Horrible. Second biggest bomb. Okay, they told us we're doing a private show for lawyers. So I'm like, all right, gonna bring my smart highbrow stuff. We show up, it's not lawyers. It's an organization of stenographers. Do you know what stenographers are?
These are the guys who take the notes in court, correct?
Those are the people in court who are famous for being quiet and unassuming.
Right.
And oh boy, were they quiet and unassuming.
They were
as an
taking
audience.
notes during your set?
They're just like, this guy sucks. So I'm up there and I'm just bombing, just silence, and they're writing their little notes on their typewriters of how bad I am. In the middle of my set, the woman who put the thing together, like the organizer, is in the back. I'm in the middle of a sentence. She goes, "Come over here. Come over here. Come over here." And I was like, "I'm doing comedy." Like, and I turned to the crowd. I'm like, "You know I'm doing comedy, right? You guys know I'm doing comedy?" They're all like, "This guy sucks." I got off stage. I'm like, "Why are you telling me to come over here?" She's like, "Oh, I just needed you off stage so badly. It was just so bad. You're so bad." So that felt good. Number one.
That felt good.
Number one. I'll give you number one. Okay. So I got this another private gig at this really rich woman's apartment on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. And this is one of those amazing apartments where like the elevator opens to the actual room, like to the entire room. There's like 8 rooms in this New York City apartment. And I'm like, "All right, where's my stage?" She's like, "Oh, there's no stage." I'm like, "Is there a mic?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, this is going to go well." It's in someone's living room. It's in the living room with like 8 women on couches, okay? And then me just standing there, okay? So I start, and it's going pretty well. They're laughing. I'm like, okay, I got this, not so bad. And then someone arrives to the party that they like, and they go, "Oh my God, Jane is here. Oh my God, guys, Jane is here." And they get up and greet Jane.
Oh, the whole audience is
and
up
I'm just
to go
standing
say hi to the person
in the living room, and then they come back. They're like, "Oh, sorry, go ahead."
Go ahead.
So I just start in the middle again. And now the rich woman is sitting next to me, okay? And she just goes, at one point, one of my jokes wasn't working because Jane was getting all the attention. And she just goes, "They don't like that one. Do
Move
a
on."
different one." And I'm like, she's paying me a lot of money. So I was like,
What am
"All
I supposed
right."
to do?
So I just go to another one. She goes, "They don't like that one either. Just do, you know what? Talk about your album." I'm like, "If there's an album out." She goes, "They don't like the album. Just keep going." I felt like a birthday clown, just like humiliated.
Jumping through hoops.
The show ends, and I just want to get out of there. I just want to leave. And the elevator is the only way to get out, and it's stuck. And so I'm literally, I have bombed. I've said goodbye, and now I'm just like,
No escaping. No escape. At least you can hide out in the green room after a bad show at a comedy club. you
So
know?
that made every show after that so much better.
I've loved every show since.
Oh,
we were talking a little bit about touring around, but I was thinking about like when we were packed in my Volkswagen Golf many years ago. We used to do a tour called Escape from New York, and we would just take as many of us New York comics as we could and try to do as many shows as we could in like a week or a week and a half.
Yeah.
But I always thought the worst part, I don't know about you, is how off schedule you would be. Because you're with 5 comedians, nobody wants to go to sleep on time. We would be drinking too much at night.
I just turned 40 years old, and I can't do the road like I used to. I can't do it.
No, I could never do what we used to.
They're eating one meal a day at like 3 p.m. And like and just like you said it. You woke up one morning. What did he tell him what you said when you woke up
after being like a week on the road with the 5, and we're all in the same hotel room. Like, so we got like, you're sharing beds with other grown men. Like, there's no time to get away from anyone. I remember one day I'm like at the wit's end. I'm like, what are we doing here? We don't eat our first meal till 2 in the afternoon. We're just walking around with headaches, not touching vegetables.
Yeah, because we haven't eaten a vegetable in a week.
I haven't had a vegetable in a week.
I went to New York City for 2 nights the other night, and I stayed with a comedian who, we performed all night, eating dinner at 1 a.m. at a diner. I came home to Connecticut, and I was jet lagged.
Yeah.
My wife is like
you just got back from Australia.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry, I've been off the last couple of days. I was in New York City. I can't handle
the whole hour and a half away.
The last thing I'll say is I was in my hotel room in Atlantic City recently, and another comic walked in, and he was like, "Oh my God, are you doing drugs in here?" And I said, "Yes." I didn't want to tell him it was Miralax. I spilled.
But they were drugs.
So in a way, they were drugs. And I enjoy it.
We're in a new phase in our comedy careers, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm working for Miralax now, so
We'd love for them to send in some money to us.
yeah. When you're on a go and you gotta go to Miralax.
All right. So Dan, I know you got another album coming out beyond Stand Up Dad, but right now Stand Up Dad's out there you can get it anywhere, like Spotify, Apple Music, all those fun things. He also does get a ton of play on SiriusXM, so you should listen for him there. And you're basically touring, he's headlining all over the country, all over the place now. So, that's Dan Altano. Follow him on all social media and everything else. And thanks so much for coming in, man.
Thanks, man. It was so good to work alongside my headshot. That's no one needed 2 of me, but here you go. Thanks, Ron. This is the best show on television. I'm telling everyone it's going to be great.